It's the meditation for this month. Anybody got anything they've been meditating on?
Proverbs 19.
Proverbs 19.
6 through 6. Proverbs 19, verse 6.
Every man is a gift, a friend of him that gives gifts. All the brothers of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He that gets wisdom loves his own soul. He that keeps understanding shall find good. False witness shall not be unpunished. He that speaks lies shall perish. The delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. Discretion of a man defers his anger, and it's his glory to pass over a transgression. That's a good one. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from Yah. What qualifies a prudent wife from a regular
One who
wife?
serves Yah.
One that fear Yah.
And work willingly with her hands. Proverbs, what is that? Proverbs 31.
This is a good one too. Slothfulness casts us into a deep sleep. That's a really good one.
Yes.
They're talking about the whole nation of Israel. We some sloths. That's why we so sleepy. Oh. We not slothful. We just slothful when it comes to Yah's work.
Right.
Yeah, as a people, you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
And what I want to say about that is,
He hear you, okay? That's enough.
Talk to you in a little bit, all right? We're going to start with a song.
We live, too, so let you know.
All right, thanks for letting me know that. Just firing up my Bible app here. And I'll also share my screen as well. Who all do we have on the line? All right, shalom, shalom, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to our Yah's New Moon service. We're getting started a little later today due to work schedules. This is a day that the Almighty called, that our people come together. We always get an opportunity to come forward and give him praise every day, but he has certain days that he marks, and certain days he make mandatory, and certain days he make optional. This is one of those days that is not 100% mandatory like the Shabbat, but it is one of those days that we can receive extra credit from the Almighty. And that's something that we all need. I'm going to start off in the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter. We all need. And I will share my screen. Figure out how to do that.
I gotta figure out how to mute myself.
I'm going to start out in the book of Daniel. And the reason why I'm starting here, can you all see my screen? You all able to see my screen? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay. And again, the reason why I want to bring this up as what Yah makes optional is because in the book of Daniel, and the reason why I call it extra credit. And Kim, I don't know if you want to check and make sure that we can, anyone who's online can actually see us. Doesn't look like I can see the video. Look like we have a blank screen. But nevertheless, I'll let you work on that, and I'm going to move forward. But I'm starting out here in Daniel, the 12th chapter, because it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up. And Michael is an angel of the Almighty. And he's the great prince which stand for the children of our people. He says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. And that book that he's talking about is the book of life. Then it says, and many of them that sleep in the dust. And notice it didn't say all. It says many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth, meaning those that have already passed away, shall awake. Some to everlasting life, which are the ones that the Almighty whom he deemed to have passed his test to have everlasting life. And then some are going to go to shame and everlasting contempt, meaning those who have utterly failed. And when I say utterly failed, he gives two categories here. Some the everlasting life, some the shame and everlasting contempt. And if you notice, he said many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth. Not all, right? Then it says, and they that be wise, and this is what I want you all to know, they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever. So this is what I'm talking about as far as extra credit, right? They that turn many to righteousness, right, shall shine as the stars forever. So this, I'm giving a parallel of this to how we look at the new moon. Even though the Almighty, Sabbath day and the Sabbath, he tell us that verily my Sabbath should keep. On days like the new moon, they may not necessarily be 100% practical. Just like, for an example, in order to get everlasting life, it's not necessarily mandatory that we teach and that we turn people to righteousness. What's mandatory is that we follow the laws of the Creator. So I just wanted to point that out real quick, and that's something you all can study and meditate on, because those that do put in that extra work, meaning it's kind of like extra credit in school, right? If you do, there's certain work that's mandatory, and then there's certain ones that the teacher say, well, hey, this will be extra credit for you. So that's the parallel that I draw here. Now I'm going to go to Psalm. Is there a Psalm that anyone would like to have read tonight?
18. Hey, Shalom. Psalms 91.
Okay. So if y'all want to read two of them, we can. I had something that I wanted to talk about. We had two that were thrown out. Psalm 18 was the first one. So we'll start there. Is there anyone that would like to read that? Or if anyone would like to share in the reading of it with me, I'll read certain parts. And, if not, I'll just go ahead. It says, I will love thee, O Yah, my strength, my rock and my fortress, my deliverer, my Elohim, my strength in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, and my high tower. I will call upon Yah, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me about, and the floods of Elohim, the man, made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon Yah, and cried unto my Elohim. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled, and the foundations of the hills were moved and were shaken, because he was rocked. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, a fire. In the heaven, but Yah was my stay. He brought me forth into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Yah rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands have he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of Yah and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim. For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also upright before him, and kept myself from my iniquity. Therefore Yah have recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. With the merciful thou wilt show thyself mercy, and with the upright man thou wilt show thyself upright. With the pure thou wilt show thyself pure, and with the froward thou wilt show thyself froward. Thou wilt save the afflicted people, but will bring down high looks. For thou wilt light my candle. Yah my Elohim will enlighten my darkness. For by thee have I run through a troop, Yah, and by my Elohim have I leaped over a wall. As for Elohim, his way is perfect. The word of Yah is tried. He is a buckler to all of them that trust in him. Who is Elohim save Yah? Or who is a rock save our Elohim? It is Elohim that girdeth me with strength and maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet and setteth me upon my high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broke in my arms. Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and thy right hand hath holding me up, and thy gentleness have made me great. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them. Neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them that they were not able to rise. They are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded me with strength into the battle, and have subdued under me those that rose up against me. Thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies, that I may destroy them that hate me. They cried, but there was none to save them. even unto Yah, but he did not answer them. Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I did cast them out as the dirt in the street. Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people. Thou hast made me the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. The strangers shall fade away and be afraid out of their closed places. God liveth, and blessed be my rock, and let the Elohim of my salvation be exalted. It is Elohim that avengeth me. And he delivered me from my enemies. Yea, thou liftest me up above those that rose up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Yah, among the heathen, and sing praises to thy name. Great deliverance give he to his king, and show mercy to his anointed, to David and to his seed forevermore. Hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. So I want to ask very quickly, because I do want to go into something real quick, a small lesson that I want to get everybody started out on. So if there are any comments on this song that anybody would like to make, please feel free to do so.
Yep, that is it. Okay. It was a lot of, yeah, I know. It's all good. Thank you.
All right. And if you are not speaking into the conference call, please mute your phone. If you do want to speak, just unmute and go right ahead.
I like to comment on verse 32. It is Elohim that girdeth me with strength and maketh my way perfect. This verse helps me to stay humble and to remember that all things that I get come from Yah. Whether he uses a person or an entity or even a lottery ticket, all things that I receive come from Yah. And the strength that keeps me, it's his strength that keeps me humble, not letting things, not allowing me to boast in things, but only to boast in him. And I was looking up a Proverbs, I think it was Proverbs 14 and 24. And I like to add that in my comment real quick. 14 and 24 says, that's 24 and 14. Proverbs 14 and 24 says, the crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of the fools is folly. And just for me, that's just another confirmation that regardless of things, the glory and the glory goes to the Most High, because the blessings for things come from the Most High. I think that's the way I want to say that. And by keeping that humble spirit and being obedient, that allows us to make our way perfect before the Most High. Like I said, on the Sabbath, we've learned a lot of evil things that are not good. But the Most High told us that those that are accustomed to doing evil learn to do well. So it's really the foolishness of a fool to dwell in their folly versus getting their strength from the Most High and allowing him to bless them.
Hallelujah. Is there anyone else that would want to make a comment on that song? Okay. If not, I'm going to hop right into something that I wanted to speak on tonight. And it's going to be the book of Proverbs. And what I want to do is I kind of want to go through the first 1 or 2 chapters because I want to kind of introduce the book of Proverbs to all the people, the brothers and the sisters on the call, and teach them the wisdom of what the Proverbs bring. You know, we all know that King Solomon was the wisest king that ever lived, and there would never be one that would be wiser than King Solomon. But also we know that, as the scriptures say in the book of Ecclesiastes, real quick, Ecclesiastes 12, even though King Solomon was the wisest man, I want to take you all here to where it says, the 12 and 9, it says, moreover, because the preacher was wise. And we say, why was the preacher wise? The preacher was wise because he got his knowledge from the Almighty. And I'm going to get to that verse. It says he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed. And this is what he gave good heed through in his Proverbs. And he sought out and he set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even the words of truth. Then it says the words of the wise are as golds. And what a gold is something that cattle herders use to prod their cattle to keep them in line. In other words, they get off track, you prod them with it, and it puts them back in line. It says, and its nails fastened by the masters of assembly. And a nail that somebody, you know, I've had people do work on my house or on certain things. And when they do the work, next thing you know, the thing come apart, whatever they put together. But when the master of assembly fasten them, they don't come apart. And that's why it says the words of the wise are as golds and as nails fastened by the masters of assembly, which are given from what? One shepherd. And that one shepherd is the Most High. And the reason why I'm bringing that out, because all the words that Solomon published and that Solomon wrote, they are words that the Almighty, the wisdom that the Almighty gave him from that one shepherd. And they're also words of wisdom that the Almighty saw fit, right, to have published in his single, what we call the single source of truth, which is his word. And that's why it says, seek ye out of the book of Yah and read. No one of these will fail thee. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and the spirit it hath gathered. So even though there's many other books, and this is why some of these other books, I don't necessarily put my full stamp of approval on. Because if the Almighty wanted them included in the book of Yahweh, he would have put them there. And one thing that I found out is as I read a lot of these books, while it'll tell you sometimes 90% of truth, 95% of truth, then it's that 5% or sometimes that 2%, 3% or 1% that you find that's wrong. And the way you know that it's wrong because it's not in sync with the words of the Almighty's book that he had published. So that's why even some of those books, people think that I try to be harsh and get on people about these other books, but I don't. I just don't consider them the single source of truth. And I say that because people say, well, look in the first, that our wisdom and everything that we are supposed to do and everything that guides us come from the Torah, which is the first 5 books. Well, that's not true because the scripture says to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to these words, it is because there is no light in them. And this is another reason why I harp on the teachers at the class and say, whatever you're saying, let Yahweh say it. Don't just get up there and speak for 20 and 30 minutes without showing where Yahweh said it. Let Yah validate what you're saying. So Proverbs, the first chapter, I want to start there. And this is an introductory to many other Proverbs, which you all will read off on your own. Proverbs that you are going to read and you're going to question. You're going to say, hey, I wonder what that means. And that'll be your opportunity to bring those Proverbs back, because that's one of the things I had to do learning from my teachers is to study, And the things that I didn't understand, they brought back and made clear to me. But it's incumbent on everybody to take their own path and do your own studying as well. Proverbs, the first chapter. And anything we tell you should be validated by the word of the Most High, right? So it shouldn't be my own wisdom. It should be validated by words out of the book of Yah somehow, some way. And if we can't show you where it said that, then that means that we haven't studied enough, or we just where it's at. Because the Almighty have validated any question we need to know, even if the answer to that is that it's the glory of Elohim to conceal a thing. Because the truth of the matter is not every single thing we're going to know. Some things the Almighty conceals. In the book of Proverbs, the first chapter, it says the Proverbs of Solomon. And I hope everybody can follow along with me. And so that as we read through here, you'll be able to start to understand how to read the word of Yah for yourself. And it's simple. All you have to do is focus in on what's being said. Don't add to it. Don't take away. It says the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. And it says to know wisdom and instruction. And this is what the Proverbs are for. What we are about to read in these next verses 2 through 4 is telling you what the purpose of the Proverbs are. It is so that you'll be able to know wisdom and you'll be able to know instruction. And so that you'll be able to perceive the words of understanding. This is what the Proverbs teach you. It's also that you'll be able to receive the instruction of wisdom, because Proverbs is the book of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity. They are also to give subtlety or subtlety to the simple. They're also to give to the young man, what does that say? Knowledge and discretion. So a lot of young men, if you want to be wise, don't just think you wise because you wise. If you study the book of Proverbs, right, this is what the book of Proverbs will do. It'll give the young man knowledge, and it'll also give the young man discretion. And that's one thing a lot of young men don't have. And that's one of the reasons why the Almighty say go to the elders a lot of time, because the elders have lived life long enough to say, well, I'm not just going to jump into this. I'm not just going to jump into that. I have to do some amount of due diligence prior to making a decision. So now that it has taught you what the Proverbs are for, now it's going to go into another part. It says, now it's going to tell you about how do I know what a wise man is? See, a lot of people want to proclaim that they're wise, right? But there's ways that you can see right through to the inner part of a man just by knowing what Proverbs is, just by understanding the Proverbs. And that's why it says a wise man will what? Hear and will increase his learning. If you're not hearing and you're not trying to increase your learning, you're not a wise man. Because this is what it says that a wise man do. And it says also a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. In other words, those are going to be your peers. You're going to attain unto counsels, unto people that can really teach you something. And mainly if they're teaching you something, it should be from the word of Yah. Then it also says to understand a proverb, right? That's something that's deep, because not everybody can understand a proverb. Not everybody can understand a proverb. And the interpretation of it. The words of the wise and their dark sayings. See, these sayings, and that's why wisdom is so deep, because wisdom is too high for a fool. That's a proverb. And I can go to it and show you, but I don't want to divert off what I'm saying. But there's a proverb that says wisdom is too high for a fool. And it says, wherein is a fool able to get wisdom, seeing he have no heart to it? That's also a proverb. And if we were in class, I would pull that up, but I'm just going to move forward. It says to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of Yah is the beginning of knowledge. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. And that's the way you also know what a fool is. If you give a fool some wisdom from the word of Yah and they despise it, right? In other words, the people don't know what it means to despise. Just means turn your back from it. You gave them the wisdom, right? And they be like, all right, well, I'm going to do what I want to do. Not to say that they're necessarily a 100% fool, because as I hear Moray Zerubbabel have said over the years, there's so many ways to be a fool, you can't miss them all, right? So I don't want to present this as if anybody is perfect or I'm perfect, because I'm far from perfect myself. But what I will say, for the most part, like it says, fools despise wisdom and instruction. And so if a person is wise, that's why there's another proverb that says, reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. I'm just gonna go through a couple more proverbs that validate. To go through a couple other proverbs that just kind of validate what I'm saying. Let me call it out. Proverbs 9 and 8. It says, he that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame. And there's another proverb that even says, go from the presence of a foolish man when you perceive not in him the lips of knowledge. So know that if you reprove a scorner, then that scorner ultimately is going to get mad at you. Or somebody who's walking in a scornful manner. And scornful just means they have no respect for authority. Or they have no respect, even, and authority is always the Almighty's law, if that's what we present. Then it says, he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth to himself a blot. And then Solomon give us some wisdom. If you know somebody's a scorner, if you know you're not going to be able to get to him, he says, don't even reprove a scorner. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. But and that's why you have to feel people out to see where they're coming from, where they're going, if their spirit is open to receive wisdom. See, that's another thing that you have to do, that you have to learn. And that's why I said, if you get that sense that their spirit is not ready for it, he says, don't even reprove them yet, lest they hate you. But if you rebuke a wise man, he will what? He will love you. And that's another way to know what a wise man is. If you reprove a wise man, he's not going to get mad. Or if he does get mad, then, right, he could be scoring it right that second, but then he might get mad. But ultimately, he'll go back and think about it and say, man, you were right. Yeah, you were right about what you said. I apologize. I shouldn't have got mad. And see, that'll tell you just how this is the world's greatest psychology book. Then it says, give instruction to a wise man, and he will yet be wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. Then we'll go back to that Proverbs 1. And this is what it means by going line upon line as we talk about things. So then, now I'm going to go into the 8th verse. This is what Solomon is saying. He says, my son, hear the instruction of a what? Father, and forsake not the law of your mother. And this is another way you'll know how you walking. If your father or your mother tell you not to do something, and what is the law of your mother? I'll give you an example of what the law of your mother is. The law of your mother is just not always the law that you find written in the book, or it can be found written in the book. But I'll give you an example. If I'm on my cell phone and driving, right, and my mom say, man, get off that cell phone while you're driving. Or that's the law of my mother. She's telling me some wisdom on something that I'm not seeing at that time. And that's why it says, my son, hear the instruction of a father. See, a father is never going to tell a child, even if they're not perfect, anything wrong. A mother's never going to tell you what's wrong, more than if they got any sense, that is, right? And that's why it says, forsake not the law of your mother. It says, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto your head. And though in the law of your father, which your mother and father tell you, they will be chains about your neck. Meaning there'll be chains of glory about your neck. Any questions so far on these two verses, or any comments? I want to get some comments on these two. Anybody have any? My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of your mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head and chains about thy neck.
Well, I just want to comment on the example that you used, which was the perfect example for a mother's law that may not be written law, but in the end, right now, if you get pulled over for texting and talking on that phone, you're going to wish you would have listened to your mama who said, don't be talking about that phone. So even though it's not a written law, it's definitely an implied, it's an understanding there. So thank you for that example.
Great job. Okay, I'm going to go forward. The 10th verse, it says, my son, if some sinners entice thee, don't consent with them. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause. In other words, somebody say, come on, brother, we about to go rob somebody. We about to go just do something that's just really bad, right? Something that's unlawful in the eyes of Yah. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole as those that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance, and we shall fill our houses with spoil. Come on, join in with us. Cast your lot in among us, and let us have all one purse, and then we'll split that purse in the end. Let us gang up. We're going to have one big pot, and we'll split in the end. He says, my son, walk not in the way with them. Refrain your foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Then it says, surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own lives. They lurk privately for their own lives. And the example that I always give here is that birds don't have the foresight to see the bigger picture. And I remember when we were little, right, we used to put the shoebox, right, with the string, with a stick and a string, and we put we'll put bread under there, right? Only thing the bird could see was the bread. He didn't see the trap that was laying for him. When he go in there to get the bread, we pull the string, we got the bird. And that's why it says, surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privately for their own lives. Then it says, so are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. And that's another thing we saying out here. Anybody that you know that's greedy of gain, right, who always want to make the scales tilt to their side, right? Anybody who always want to be always a taker, and never a giver, right? See, that's the same category. So that's a person that's also greedy of gain. Then it says, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chiefest place of concourse, in the opening of the gates in the city, she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? Right? And that's what we say sometimes, like, how long will ye simple ones just not hearken? And that's why sometimes if you see, that's what wisdom said. Wisdom is a spirit, right? Well, that's what we say sometimes. You just tell them whether they hear or forbear. But wisdom says, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorners, and fools hate what? Knowledge. See, a fool is going to hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. This is what wisdom is saying. Turn you at my reproof. In other words, turn you at the words of wisdom that are coming from me. And once you turn from that, I will pour my spirit out upon you, and I will make known my words unto you. In other words, the wiser you become, the wiser you start to turn towards to be, the more wiser you're going to be. It's kind of like eating, right? The more you eat, probably the more weight you gain, right? The more you work out, probably the stronger you get. So that's the same way with wisdom. The more you cater towards wisdom, the more wisdom is going to pour out its spirit upon you. I will make known my words unto you. But it says, because I have called and ye refused, right? Talking about the simple ones up here. How long ye simple ones where ye love simplicity? Sometimes we got to fall in our own trap. And that's why it says, behold, because I have called and ye refused, and I have stretched out my hand and no man regardeth. But you have said at what? Not all of my counsel. You have said, in other words, you ignored all my counsel and with none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. This is what the spirit of wisdom is saying. And I will mock when your fear comes. When your fear cometh as desolation and as destruction, and destruction as a whirlwind. Because see, another thing that people got to remember, like the Almighty got certain spirits. He got with the spirit of wisdom. There's also spirit like the spirit, like the Almighty said about that angel, right? He said, like, you better obey my angel. He's sent out on a special mission, right? And he's not going to have mercy on you. He's sent on a special mission to do what I could commission him to do. And it's not till I withdraw or I'll hold him back that he will stop when my mercy comes into effect. Wisdom says, I will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When your distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me, wisdom is saying, but I will not answer. Then shall they shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose what? The fear of Yahweh. They would none of my counsel. They despise all of my reproof. And this is what you're going to get as you go through the book of Proverbs. You're going to get all this reproof. You're going to get all these words of wisdom. It says, therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. And you know what? It's sad to say that that's something that humans go through, right? Is that we as humans, sometimes we get off on the wrong course, right? But then we also have to pay for the choices we make. But the good thing about the Most High is that he always has mercy. But this is talking about wisdom. And this is how wisdom, because wisdom is a spirit. And this is what the spirit of wisdom is what Yahweh laid upon Solomon. It says, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. See, you give a fool a lot of money, the prosperity of a fool, they're going to blow it. They're going to get into all kind of foolishness. Will destroy them. But whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from the fear of evil. Hallelujah. It is now 7:20. I'm going to just go through a few proverbs to give examples of the knowledge that are in the book of Proverbs, right? Which we read all the time, but I'm just going to maybe bring out some examples that maybe we don't read. This is one of my favorite. This is talking about an adulterous woman. I'm going to read this right here, because this is some wisdom that King Solomon also wrote. I haven't went through this in a long time. It says, my son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. And when we talk about the law, this is not necessarily talking about the law of Yahweh, like thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not commit, but this is talking about the laws of wisdom that are being given the same way like the laws of wisdom that your parents give. It says, bind them upon thy fingers. And it's talking about the Proverbs, which are also synonymous to the law of Yah in this case. But it says, bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. Say unto wisdom, you are my sister. So it's characterizing wisdom again as an entity. And it's also characterizing wisdom as a female entity. But just want everybody to know that, say unto wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman. that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. And King Solomon had a lot of experience with strange women. So a lot of these experiences that King Solomon had, and I'll show you all this at another time, but a lot of the experiences that Solomon, a lot of the wisdom that Solomon drew was through his life's experience. And there are even parts of it when Solomon even found himself going into a black hole that he wrote about, where he was testing out different scenarios. Whole another story. And that's right in the book as well. It says that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth from her words. Then it says, for at the window of my house, I look through my casement. In other words, looking out the window, and behold among the simple ones. So I'm going to tell y'all what this is talking about. Then we'll go through and read. It's talking about the observation of a young man standing out on the corner with his friends, right? And he runs across this adulterous woman that is walking in the midnight. Her husband is gone on vacation. She got the house to herself. And she tell him, she come down the street with a short mini skirt on or some Daisy Dukes. And she say, baby, you the man I've been looking for. You the one. So she blow up his ego. Out of all the guys that's out there, she blows up his ego. And she said, come on home to me at my house. She said, I have a brass waterbed with silk sheets. I got food I'm going to feed you with. I got whatever you want. I got it for you. And I want us to come home so that we can take our fill of love, because my husband is gone on vacation. He ain't going to be back the next week. I know exactly when he's going to be back home. And this young man goes right after her like, yeah, it's home. He in front of his boys too. You know what I'm saying? So he goes right on and he dips after this woman to the final straw that she is actually an adulteress, which ultimately condemns him. So now we're going to read this now that I kind of told you all the plot. It says, for at the window of my house, I looked through my casement and I beheld among the simple ones. In other words, looking out, there was a group of young men. I beheld among the simple ones. I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding. This one was singled out. He was passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot, and supped to her heart. She is loud and stubborn. In other words, that's just her character, her personality. And this is another way that you can tell how certain women are, right? Just by their character. They loud, they stubborn, they got to be the ones that always got to be seen, heard. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abideth not within her house. She ain't never home, always out running. Her feet abideth not in her house. But now she is without. Now she is in the street, and she lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. In other words, I got some Hennessy and Coke. I got a bag of marijuana, whatever. I got peace offerings with me, baby. I got my pad set up for you. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face. Telling him, like, no, you the exact one I've been looking for. That's how she blow his ego up. And now I have found thee. She said, I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry and carved works with fine linen of Egypt. In other words, my pad laid out. Y'all can go through that, right? I decked my bed with coverings of tapestries. Brass water bed with silk. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. This is what she's telling him. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. All night long. Let us solace ourselves with love. For the good man, my husband, is not at home. He is gone on a long journey. In other words, he out of town. He have taken a bag of money with him, and he will come home at the day appointed. In other words, he ain't going to be back the next Wednesday. I already know when he's coming back. With her much fair speech, she calls him to yield. You know, I think I don't know, but you know. But then with the flattering of her lips, she forced him. He goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasteth to the snare. To that one snare I was telling y'all about, the bird under the thing that he run into that bread, but he don't see the trap around him, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Then it says, hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline after her ways. In other words, when you see her coming, the next time, young brothers, when you see this type of woman coming that's feeding you this game, you already know right off who she is, because you just read the instruction in Proverbs 7. And for the women, the same way with a man that may try to approach you. Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her path, for she has cast down many wounded. Yea, many strong men have been what? Slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. So that in itself is just one element of wisdom. Are there any comments that anybody would like to make? Please, somebody make comments. Don't make me just talk here all night. Comments?
No, it was a good scripts. The Proverbs.
Well, I got a question and a comment.
Okay.
Everybody else talking. So you made, I understood the proverb, but then you made this statement so to apply as for the same thing for young women regarding a man. But then that brings in the contrast of, even if he's a married man, men can have more wives. So he might, how do you distinguish between a brother that's looking for a second wife and a brother that's out there trying to make whoremongers? Can you give some advice on that?
Sure. I mean, it's clear here that this person was looking for sex, flat out. That's the key right there. That's the distinct difference in this scenario right here. So this woman was specifically had a husband at home, but she was specifically out to get it on. So how would I compare that to a man? I mean, you know, young sisters, I would just say, if I had to give you my advice to my daughter, to my granddaughter, be aware of anybody, number one, who's trying to solicit you like that right off. That's where you start at right there. And I think I'm sorry, Abigail, let me just, one more thing. And where you start at is the game that somebody's trying to play. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I'm just recalling, you know, with young ladies, for whatever reason, we sway for the words. We, you know, those smooth words. And if they, unfortunately, even if they have Hebrew Israelite families, it's oftentimes more the young lady that gets caught up than it is the young man, or it's more spoken of on the young lady. So I was just asking for wisdom from a male. How can these young ladies, and I understand, like you said, yep, if they first come at you and all they talking about is trying to get you in the bed, 9 times out of 10, they ain't no good. 10 times out of 10, they ain't no good. But I do know we do probably have some young folks on the line. So since you made the statement, this applies to ladies too, or young ladies too. Then could you elaborate? Is there a proverb that kind of tells them the same thing?
I would have to think about that. I would have to go think about that. That's a good question, and I'll search through. But off the top of my head, one thing that I just want to be clear on is as we read these scriptures, and even though it talks about and this is how you draw wisdom out of something, right? Even though it says, you know, he this, and it says he that, you're supposed to draw the grand wisdom out of the scenario, right? And that's what I mean by reading comprehension, right? When it comes to reading comprehension, you have to understand what it is saying and what it's not saying. And also go deeper into what the what the moral of the story is, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you. I wish I would have known some of this stuff when I was a young girl. But thank you.
Let me see if I can find. Let's go to Proverbs 11. Real quick, I'll go through a couple Proverbs here. I won't keep y'all late because it's been a long day for everybody. It says, a false balance is an abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. So that's what the Almighty like. He don't want us to be respecter of persons, right? So we not to rule in favor of somebody because we like them more, right? We got to have a just balance. Then it says, when pride cometh, then cometh shame. But with the lowly is wisdom. And that's why it doesn't pay to be arrogant, right? It pays to just be of a humble spirit, be of a meek spirit. And sometimes even if somebody does something to you, sometimes it just pays to just sit back and wait on the Most High. And I know that it's hard for us to do that, right? But this is the wisdom that we get out of here. I'll give you another one right here, 11 and 12. He that is void of wisdom despiseth his neighbor. In other words, the Almighty tell us not to hold a grudge, right? So he that has no wisdom will have a grudge. And that's how you know whether a person got wisdom or not. He that is void or don't have wisdom despiseth his neighbor. But a man of understanding will what? Hold his peace. A talebearer revealeth secrets. And we ask what a talebearer is. Yahweh said we should not go up among our people as a talebearer. In other words, don't even go back running your mouth about things that really that's going to damage people. And that's why it says a talebearer reveals secrets. A talebearer ain't just somebody who lies. A talebearer is somebody who gossip, carrying stuff on, just always talking. Because see, there's many other things we can be talking about than even some of the foolishness sometimes that we deal with. That's why it says a talebearer revealeth secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit conceal a matter. Where no counsel is, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. And that's why a lot of times when we're dealing with things regarding the direction of the class, right? Not only do I try to consult with our elders, but I also try to consult with other leaders, right? Who might have gone through it for counsel as well. And that's one thing that I want you all to have the confidence in our direction, right? Is that for our direction, it's not just Mordecai making a decision. I consult with various people, with the elders, with other people that I know that are of wisdom, people who have wisdom in specific areas, right? I don't go to a mechanic and ask him how he's going to fix my plumbing at home, right? And vice versa. So sometimes you can go to people who have wisdom in certain areas and get wisdom. It says, a gracious woman retain honor, and strong men retain riches. And this is another way you know a strong man. A strong man, not only does he retain riches, but he is wise enough to start building up his riches, right? Not trying to live above his means. But saying, I'm going to put a little bit here, I'm going to put a little away so I won't go broke. And these are just ways of wisdom. And this is why I say sometimes we think we're strong, but we're not as strong as we think we are. But this is where the growth comes in at. If we know that we're deficient in the area, we can easily identify them in the book of Proverbs and then start to work on it. That's another good thing. You got a comment, Uriah?
Yeah, I had a comment on what you was talking about retaining riches and a strong man retain riches. I was going to ask if would you, like, say for instance, give a a diagram or some type of like way that would be a way that from someone to start to stack up or retain their riches to build up to wealth. You know, say a man starting from zero, what would you, because I know you got experience with it, so like somebody that's starting from, nothing, what would be like his path of saving to get to that?
Well, the first thing, I can easily do that, and I used to show people how to do that. Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to create a budget. First of all, you have to figure out what all you got going out, right? And then figure out what all you got coming in. If what you have going out is more than what you got going in, is where you're going to be deficient, and that's where you'll never retain riches. Right. So at some point, you have to be able to have accountability. You have to be able to figure out, like, how much do I, like, first of all, what are all my bills, right? Secondly, how much money do I have going in, right? And then how much do I have? And then if you find that your bills are more than your money, you say, okay, well, what can we cut out? We know we can't cut out our rent or my mortgage, right? Right. That's when you cut out the extracurricular stuff. That's when you cut the cable out. That's when you find ways to save money, to try to pool your money. Like, for an example, there's many ways. Like, if we want to go in and start buying like a whole cow, right? Right. We chip in our money. We buy. We have to find ways to have group economics. Okay. But the first thing you have to do is to start with a budget, and then start to eliminate the things that you know. And this is what these jobs do. If y'all don't realize that. And that's why I tell people you have to strive to work hard, because they know who's working and who's sleeping in the bathroom for 4 hours. Right. They know who's calling in. They know how many days you done called in. I don't care how much they smile in your face. They know how many days you took off, and they rank their employees, right? And say, if we do have to make cuts, where do we start? I'm letting y'all know right now. That's what people leaders do. That's how people leaders evaluate their staff. Okay.
And I had a question too, like, when you say budget, when it comes to like buying certain things such as like not so much your necessities, but say for instance, when would you feel comfortable in buying, that outfit or that car or whatever? Like when do you think it would be the right time for you to say, okay, I got enough to go and start, maybe spending on something else?
Well, let me say this. First of all, I don't want to make this into a financial call, but I will answer that question. The way that I'll answer that is that's all dependent on the person. Like, sometimes you got one thing that I've learned coming up, first of all, is as you work, the first person you pay is who?
Yourself.
No. The first person you pay is Yahweh.
Right.
See, if you want to be blessed, the first person you pay is Yahweh. Okay. And the second person you pay is yourself. But in paying yourself, you have to determine, first of all, you got to have a surplus to even pay yourself. Some people just live in check to check just to pay the bills, right? And that's the rut that you have to get out of before you can start paying yourself, or you're going to go deeper and deeper into a rut. And some people say, I got a problem, I'm just going to go shopping on this credit card. Well, you're just putting yourself in a deeper rut. You know what I'm saying? So that's a decision that one has to make. That's something that's kind of like that takes more of a discussion when it comes to finances. That'll be a separate call that we can talk about. You're right. And I know we had talked about that, but the bottom line is at some point you do have to pay yourself, right? You got to pay for your necessities first, right? Right. Like our family always taught us, put a roof over. Somebody always feed you, but everybody ain't gonna put a roof over your head. So you got to prioritize the things in your life that are important. And then if you feel like, man, I just got to blow it on this outfit this time, and you do it, I mean, you just got to be prepared that you're going to maybe get your gas and electric cut off. I don't know. You feel me? I mean, you have to be wise enough to figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to get this $500 pair of shoes, but my car ain't even running right. And I know I'm going to need some work on my car.
Right.
You know what I mean? The next thing you know, you done bought the shoes, then the car done broke down. Now you ain't got no money to get the car fixed. See, that's why wisdom say, that's why we go back to the part in wisdom where it says, then shall wisdom laugh at your calamity. I think that was it. It says, how long will ye simple ones love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorners, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. I will pour my spirit out upon you and make known my words to you. Then it says, because I have called and ye refused. In other words, you knew you were supposed to put that money up, right? And you refused. And you wanted to go buy an outfit or splurge on something you couldn't afford. And I stretched out my hand and you didn't regard that you knew the wise thing to do was to save that money. Mama done told you, your daddy done told you how to budget. You have said it not at all my counsel with none of my reproof. Now I'm going to laugh when your calamity comes. That's what wisdom does. Wisdom is a spirit. Just like that angel of death. When that angel of death comes out, that angel of death comes out. And it is on a path, and it is only the Almighty that can stop it. Because it is commissioned to do a specific things, just like wisdom right here. Wisdom is a spirit. Wisdom will laugh at your calamity. I told them. How long will you simple ones love simplicity? I've been telling them. And fools hate knowledge, right? Then they shall call upon me and I will not answer. They shall see me early, but they shall not find me. Do you see where it's all coming together?
Yeah.
Or that they hated knowledge. You know what I mean? And this can apply to many different scenarios. And I'm also going to say that we all as humans are vulnerable to not being the wisest, just overall. Bottom line, so none of us are perfect. So you have to figure out how you best want to live your life, right? Some people say, I don't care about being poor. I don't care about, not having money, but, you got to have money to survive, right?
That's right.
You don't care about making money and going to work, but then you always begging from somebody else. Come on, man.
That's right.
So, all right, enough of the financial talk. Because there's many different scenarios we can go on with this. It is now 7:45. I will open up the floor to any other comments, questions, and just tell me what you all think about what we talked about tonight. Do you all want to continue to explore the proverbs? There are many proverbs that are given to us. Much wisdom in this book. It is not good to accept the persons of the wicked, to overthrow the righteous in judgment. Another one right here, Proverbs 18:6. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. Anybody want to talk about that?
I can paraphrase for shalom, everybody, for today's time. So in other words, it's like, don't write a check that your butt can't cash.
Right.
To sum it up, you speak so much words that just know the consequences come back behind that. And if the consequences come where blows come, just make sure that you can handle it.
Right. And
everybody is not.
Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying everybody isn't peaceful. So, and paraphrasing in today's time is like, don't speak what your butt can't cash in.
Right. And then also, not only that, don't let your lips enter into contention. I'll give you another example. This could also go into like another scenario, could be road rage, right? In road rage, you never know what a person got waiting for you, right? And if you engage in that, that's why it says a fool's lips enter into contention, or a fool, period, enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. Like in road rage, people have been killed over road rage. Well, they could have if they would have just kept their mouth shut. You see what I'm saying? You just never know how that other person you're dealing with, how they operate. and what they are capable of doing at that time. So sometimes it's just best to not argue with a person. Go from the presence of a foolish man when you perceive not in him the lips of wisdom, lips of knowledge. Many other proverbs. You see, all these things back one another up.
Right, like controlling your spirit. It matters because when other people, like you said, that you don't know what other people are capable of. And if you control your spirit, that could be the very thing that helps save your life.
Right. As Moray Dan would have put it, sometimes a person get to run in their mouth and somebody knock you on your butt and you don't even know what's coming. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. Remember I told y'all my story about driving? And I had been speeding and the police come behind me and I'll be like, Yahweh, or I pass the police and I'll be like, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Y'all remember me telling y'all that? The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth to that name and run into that tower and is what? Safe. All right, y'all, there are many other proverbs that we can go through. We're not going to keep everybody all night. I hope you all got something out of it. Any other comments before we go? I'd like to hear from Ruach, Brother Getter. And Uriah left. I'll be right back, y'all.
It's good. Good lesson. Happy new month to all my people. Long month. We had a very long month. We had a very long month this month. But we made it through. Now we headed into the, I believe it's the 8th month. All praise to the mighty Yah.
Hallelujah.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Brother D. Will, what up, dude?
Yeah.
Shalom, brother.
How you doing, man?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Over here
Enjoying this new moon. Enjoying this lesson. It's a great lesson.
Man, you hear me? I'm over here laying down listening to
Right.
it.
All right, everybody, I'm back. And again, I hope you all got something out of it. And I hope that not only did you get some out of what I said tonight, but I hope that this can be a kind of a stepping stone for you all to get into the book of Proverbs, right? There's many Proverbs in here, and the Proverbs is going to just escalate your knowledge and your wisdom. So, see, this is the gift that you get a lot of times when you take that extra step to come to New Moon, or when you participate in the service, right? You're learning things that you would not have normally gotten otherwise, right? And hopefully it's things that can help you. All right.
Also wanted to say this, Yahweh can give, Yahweh take away. You know what I mean? He can give you a spirit, he can take that spirit away, and then he can take it away, and he can give it right back to you. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we all can play the role of a fool. You know what I'm saying? It's just about recognizing that you are playing the fool and where you played the fool at and correcting it. Because we all gonna fall short.
Yeah, and she came, this is what the Proverbs are for, right?
Right.
The Proverbs are to be first of all, they are number one to be a proactive measure, right? So you can learn not to fall into the pitfalls, right?
Right.
And then they're also to teach you when you do fall into the pitfalls, like, how do I get back? Where did I err at? Where exactly did I go wrong at? Because even when some people go wrong sometimes, it's important to know exactly like where I went wrong at, or where did we go wrong at.
Right. Yeah.
So true, because those who don't learn from those mistakes, or those, they are destined to repeat them again.
That's true, Brother Abigail. Yeah.
Then you have some people who just continue to make the same decision because that's just what they decide to do because they don't want to change. So it's no longer mistakes; it's a decision at some point.
It's who you are.
You know what? That's where it says, can the Ethiopian change his skin or a leopard his spots? Then they that are accustomed to do evil, then do good.
Yeah.
I think that's Jeremiah. Y'all familiar with that, right?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah 13, I think.
Speaking on that, I met an Ethiopian today too.
Hey, let's stay focused. All right. This is also a good tool that I would recommend if you all a good study guide, good study aid that I'm sharing with everybody. That'll help you study. I'll show you all some other things in a minute here. As you can see, I'm going.
Can you share that?
Yes, I sure can. Jeremiah 13 and 23. Can an Ethiopian change his skin or a leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. Therefore, I will scatter them as the stubble that passed away by the wind of the wilderness. You know, so it's just a lot here in this book. You know, we're not going to cover everything in one night. So praise y'all. I'm going to end with Psalm 91, which was the other song that we talked about. And then we're going to stop the broadcast. And then I want to just briefly talk to everybody for a couple minutes before we get off. All right. Is there anybody who want to read this? Y'all going to make me do all the work. Who brought this up? Was it Tamar? Please read this for us, sister.
I'm gonna have one of my kids do it because I'm actually driving. So give me a second.
No, that's okay. We'll go ahead and do it. We'll go ahead and do it.
Here, Leah. Here, Leah.
Hey, Tamar, that's okay. That's okay. We'll take care of it.
Okay.
The king here, go ahead, please.
Surely he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Yah, he is my refuge and my fortress. My Elohim, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor for the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thy eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him, and show him my salvation. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right, this ends our service. Keem, if you will please stop the YouTube broadcast.